It's rap clock. Word. Peace. And much love to everybody out there. Oh, actually, this might not actually be working. Oh, yeah, it is. All right, let's go. Damn, bro. All right, let's see. Wait, nope. All right. Word. I wonder if I'm by my lonely right now. Is anybody out there? Is anyone out there? All right, whatever. I just wanted to watch this. I figured if anyone was interested in watching with me, they could pop in. This isn't gonna be too long. I'm more just listening. Kind of a public service announcement too, a bit, I guess. Let's get me up here though. Hmm. Word. Alrighty, let's get it.
For something to help you jump ship. I think this is something that could literally change the game. Some people are having a real problem with the CEO of Spotify is doing. All of a sudden now, Spotify absolutely will be able to do this. Here's where I feel like it's all gonna fall apart for Spotify. It may be over for Spotify. I mean, this is such a huge deal and a game changer. If you are a creator on the platform who's been looking for a way to leave, if you're a user on the platform and you're no longer about what Spotify is doing, let me start with this. When I reported
No
on this at the
longer.
beginning of the year, and I
Jeez.
was like, Spotify is announcing it's going to do this super premium deluxe tier, and that's coming at the end of 2025. So I'm like, where are we at? And the reason why this really worried us is because they're like in the list of all the things the super premium tier is going to give users. One of them is higher resolution audio. Users will also get early access to concert tickets. Okay, fine. But then it goes, users will be able to remix music on Spotify. And we just had a field day with this. And we go, all right, we're going to reverse engineer because we need to see, is it truly possible that Spotify would allow users to remix our music? And that is a huge deal because when you remix music, you do it as a collaboration. You have to give someone the authority to remix and then release it. And then maybe you don't like the final remix. Maybe you don't want to collaborate with
it's
certain
not
people.
the same as like a cover
a
song.
collaborative process, and it requires permission, sometimes compensations. I mean, there are music producers who do remixes as like a full-time gig and they get paid really good money for this. Okay, so with that context, we go, can Spotify even do this? So we reverse engineered and we went and looked at the music distributors and the major ones. We've reviewed the major ones, the mid-tier ones, pretty much everyone at this point. And we go in the contracts that you guys sign when you distribute your music to Spotify. The contracts very often, not in every single one, but almost every single one, it says you're giving the right to the distributor to give rights to Spotify. And those rights often included remix rights. At the time that this language was put into place for a lot of these distributors like DistroKid, their contract has been the same for many years. Unlike a lot of distributors who update their contracts ever so often, they've kept theirs the same. So this language was kind of like pre-AI. And the reason is because there was a time where you needed to give DistroKid or other music distributors the right to create little previews of your songs, right? To send it to iTunes. And so in doing that, they have to create different versions of your music. That's why this language was in the distributor contracts. But now what we're seeing is that, well, if DistroKid, if CD Baby, if all these companies have the right to give remix rights to Spotify, all of a sudden now, Spotify absolutely will be able to do this. So how close are we to having this happen? And then also I go back to, why might it already be over for Spotify. Okay, couple things. I'm looking at the clues and the signs that Spotify is actually getting ready to pull the trigger on this super premium tier. The first thing is that it just rolled out this mix feature. It's in beta mode. You should be able to see it in your Spotify account, but let me just show you. This is from or on the Spotify website. So in any case, they go, all right, you can now mix your music. This is different than the fading that you can currently do between songs on your playlist, which is just something you toggle on and off and select, right? This is different. This is like you being a DJ. So you can go in and you turn on the mixing. So you have the fade, you can change volume, EQ, effects,
What
use the
the
waveform
hell?
for beat data, right? So you're kind of acting like a
Ugh.
DJ. So
I
if you
don't
were
like
looking on your
that.
playlist, there should be a little button here for mixing. Now the
But then are
question is,
you real
well, is this a big deal?
but
Do you guys even
okay.
care about this, right? Is this impactful?
So are you mixing it for your own personal listening? So you're like kind of get to, oh, I get to make my own custom version of the song. If so, that's kind of cool. But if you're remixing it and then distributing a different version than the original, I don't think I like that.
The rights to your music by allowing people to do these things like speeding up the BPM, changing the EQ, because they do this as a setting within the playlist. And so, again, they're acting kind of like a DJ. And if you were plugging in your little DJ controller and you were doing this, there's a way to do this already. So, if Spotify is not doing it, is it even a big deal? Well, nonetheless, they're rolling this out. Another clue is that Spotify is now kind of trying to become a social media platform. So this is
Oh
from Music
man.
Business Worldwide. Slide into Spotify's DMs. Platform launches in-app messaging to boost content sharing. Spotify has started rolling out a direct message
Are you
feature
fucking
inside.
serious, bro? Come on, YouTube. YouTube, you need to give us direct messaging. At least channel to channel. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but how is Spotify doing this before YouTube? It's ridiculous. We shouldn't have to dive through the comment section to have direct line to our fans. It's too hard to keep track of. Give us a messenger.
App, which the platform says is meant to make sharing music and other content easier. The new tool will be available on mobile devices, right? So the idea is like
So it's
they
already
want to be
out.
WhatsApp, they want to be Instagram. And so I'm curious just in general how you guys feel about this and whether for the average user, they're going to end up feeling like Spotify's just bloated because there's now going to be all these like social media tools of like chatting with each other and they're trying to do too much. And so from a fundamental like is
Well, I
the
think it's
core of
fun
what
for Spotify,
Spotify
but
is
YouTube needs it.
changing. Now that's a user question. We're looking at this from both the user standpoint as well as the artists who use this platform standpoint, but that's another clue, right? They're rolling out the things that they have, I think, because they're gearing up to do the big launch. Now, here's where I feel like it's all gonna fall apart for Spotify. Apple comes along and they made a little announcement. Look out, Spotify. Apple Music is introducing a new tool that allows users to import playlists from other streaming platforms.
Hell yeah, Apple.
In other
Good job.
words, Apple is making it possible for people to jump ship from Spotify and come on over to Apple. This is from Consequence of Sound.
That's
After
awesome.
beta testing in Australia, New Zealand, the playlist importing tool is now available in the US, UK, Mexico, Canada, France, Brazil, and Germany. As reported, the tool can be found in a new music settings menu called Transfer Music from Other Music Services. Now, here's what I think Deezer should do: this exact thing. Not everyone is a fan of Apple, okay? But I
Right.
think if you were looking for something to help you jump ship, I think this is something that could literally change the game because a lot of people have put in time and effort and sweat, blood, tear, plural. I cry one tear. You might cry more. But anyway, just, this might be the way to actually bridge that gap because some people are having a real problem with the politics behind what the CEO of Spotify is doing and where it's investing in. So there are a ton that are pulling their music from the platform. The primary reason is the mass exodus. Spotify CEO Daniel Ek's investment in Helsing, a German company specializing in AI military software. We've reported on this, and I think it was an investment something just shy of $700 million. So, quote, a PSA to those unaware, Spotify's CEO Daniel Ek invests millions in AI military drone technology. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard shared on Instagram recently, quote, we just removed our music from the platform. Can we put pressure on these Dr. Evil tech bros to do better? Join us on another platform. Zuzu posting, quote, we are currently working to take all of our music off of Garbage, Whole, Violent, Armageddon, Portal, Spotify.
Damn.
So, AKA, people are feeling
Yeah.
very strongly
Spotify
about
sucks.
many of things that are happening, but as I call it, the dumpster fire that is currently Spotify. And from the perspective of the independent artists and the creators who are trying to just utilize this platform, because I'm a sell before you stream kind of gal, and that's a free download that we have, which is my method of making money from the music that I release, that my clients release, right? This is the way to monetize before you actually put your music on streaming platforms. If you want to have your music on Spotify, if you want to have your music all these places, you have to treat them like glorified marketing because you're not going to make money there. Where you can make money is by selling your music on your own website. You can even use a platform like Bandcamp where you allow people to pay what they want, right? There are different ways basically to creatively connect with the people who want to support your music, but understand that these platforms are not set up to really help you be successful. And that's been the big question mark for Spotify. It's like at the end of the day, is this really just about money? Is this really just about the advertisers and the subscribers? And you really don't care. Because if you cared, fill in the blank with any of these examples of you would have done something. When there are fraudsters on your platform that are using AI to impersonate real artists to commit identity fraud, when they are pretending to be human authors, they want to make AI music and that's allowable on your platform. Cool. That's different from someone lying. And then if you, Spotify, are going to say, we'll kick people off who misrepresent themselves on our platform, and then you do nothing about the AI acts on your platform. One of the biggest offenders being the Velvet Sundown. And as we've covered, they lied and they lied about who they were and all this stuff. And then they ended up updating their bio. And my speculation on that had been, I bet Spotify got a hold of them. I bet Spotify reached out. And I go, if that's the case, that's even more offensive. It's one thing to be silent. It's one thing to ignore the problem because I don't know, are you just data gathering? What are you doing, Spotify? But it's another if you're like, hey, actually, we want to give you the cheat card here. Just fix it. We're not going to delete it. I don't know what happened in that situation, but I just kind of go back to at some point, I'm curious if there's going to be such a surge and such a uncontrollable amount of nonsense that is happening on this platform. And that's the nicest word I could possibly think of because what's happening is horrifying. But I wonder that there's going to be a tipping point, and also just because of the volume, right? So even just the volume of AI music, right? It is going to drown out. It's a matter of time. It is going to drown out human authors, and that might be good for you. That might be bad. Leave a comment down below. But nonetheless, independent creators who want to be separate from all of this stuff and don't want to have to rely on middlemen, you have to do something. And the something that you can do is sell before you stream. And you could even take your music completely off of these platforms. And I know the rub. I know why you don't want to, because you're just going to make it difficult for people to find your music. You are now taking up a pitchfork, and maybe that's not what you want to do. You're not trying to fight all the distributors. You wish they would do better, but you're just trying to work your day job to support your music career until it can bring in enough revenue. And I totally get that. And that's why we do this channel. So guys, make sure you subscribe. We're here to help you, including to help you monetize your music to make money. I'm very glad that you're here. I'm Tom Music Attorney. I'll see you on the next one.
Hell yeah. Man, she does good work. Well, I thought that I had a lot of independent artist fans, and I thought someone definitely was going to join this live, but it's just me by myself. Well, Spotify sucks. I already been thought that. You don't make money off your music the same way anymore. You got to do direct to consumer. I've kind of been hip to this, but it just keeps getting worse and worse, and it's going to be a formula that constantly needs to be updated. But I think we really do need to somehow to figure out how to take our power back as artists and consumers, because these corporations are taking advantage of both of us, of both artists and consumer. In my opinion, I think you would get a more authentic artist with less, in between. Although I do love I do love shit, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So you basically have to do direct to consumer, and shit, what the hell was I gonna say? Direct to consumer, or have your own websites, whatever. Hey, I haven't used this in forever. Okay, word. Oh damn, what do I got going on here? There we go. This isn't anything crazy. I'm just watching. This is one of my favorite music resources to understand what's going on. Uh this is about Spotify. Yeah, they suck though. Here, let's watch another one. Okay.
Is it illegal to do cover songs? If you can do cover songs, can you put them on music platforms? YouTube? Can you perform them live? What about using an AI music platform like Suno or Udio? Is it okay to create cover songs using AI? I'm gonna answer these questions in today's video. Hi guys, I'm top music attorney.
Okay, so can you make a song with AI and then put it on streaming and get paid? If you can make a cover song, which cover songs are okay, she's gonna go through it.
Lawyering for over 11 years and doing music pretty much my entire life. This channel is dedicated to helping you with your music career. If that sounds good, be sure to
Hey, that's the first time she showed herself.
Hi guys,
not
I'm top
behind
music
a desk.
attorney. I've been lawyering for over 11 years and doing music pretty much my entire life. This channel is dedicated to helping you with your music career. If that sounds good, be sure to subscribe right now. All right, cover songs. I love cover songs for you, okay? If you're just new to this or if you do this a whole lot, this is the video for you, I promise. But I really love cover songs because
I love
so
mixtape songs, but cover songs have much more legal protection, right? You had to split the money with the original person, but they cannot refuse to let you do it. Now, if I wanted to do a whole remix, if I wanted to make money, I have to get permission and split the money.
Here's the thing. You have to sell people on so many things of your product, being your music, right away. You have to sell them on your production, your voice, your style, your genre, and then of course the song itself. So a cheat code is doing a cover song. It's a wonderful gap filler. If you release a lot of original music, we have a tendency to spend a lot more time on our original music, and so you can do cover songs in between your original releases, but it's just easier for people to digest you, get to know you, fall in love with you if you're doing a song that they already love. I was reluctant to do cover songs for a long time. I'm an independent artist, and then I realized at some point
they're a great discovery tool, especially if you're like a whole musician to where you can do whole cover songs, right? Like, you know what? I wonder. Okay, so you do a cover song. I would have to remake the beat, I think. Okay, so when you do a cover song, you're like taking you're taking it and making a different version of your own. But for some reason, if you have the instruments, if you play the instruments, that person doesn't have to give you permission to do the cover song. But if you take the same beat and try to do a remix, then that person has to give you permission. So I wonder if I were to pay producers to recreate beats, could I put my remix songs up on Spotify as cover songs and still get paid? That's something that I really should look into, actually.
Remarkably effective marketing tactic cover songs are. And then actually there's been this huge wave of sync licensing placements, so getting your music into TV and film and games, and this need for cover versions, because between you and me, these big shows don't want to pay to have to license the original song. They would rather pay you for your cover, and you would be happy to take their money. And speaking of original songs, because into TV and film and
yeah, that's true. There is a lot of remixes and cover songs that you get used in TV and film. I've noticed that.
Games, and this marketing tactic cover songs are. And then actually there's been this huge wave of sync licensing placements, so getting your music into TV and film and games, and this need for cover versions, because between you and me, these big shows don't want to pay to have to license the original song. They would rather pay you for your cover, and you would be happy to take their money. And speaking of money, I have the sell before you stream checklist. So this is my make sure you make your money from your music. Don't just put your music on Spotify. Actually go through, get your fans to buy from you. I give you the breakdown so you will have it for your next release, including your cover song release. So download that right now. Okay, so now before I dive into the aspects of doing live shows and releasing the music and all the good stuff, let's just be clear on what this is.
Wait, is this a PDF?
Go through, get your fans to buy from your music. Don't just put your music on Spotify. Actually,
this is shit, what do you call this? There's a certain word for this. Basically, this is a free offer right now. If I want to get this, I have to give her my email address, and then she's gonna hit me with emails, tell me every time she has a new video coming out, what new products she has. This is a really good way to get recurring revenue with these free products and to capture email addresses.
Go through, get your fans to buy from you. I give you the breakdown so you will have it for your next release, including your cover song release, so download that right now. Okay, so now before I dive into the aspects of doing live shows and releasing the music and all the good stuff, let's just be clear on what this is. A cover song is not sampling. So I'm not saying go and take your favorite song and cut out a section, use a vocal, use a guitar riff. You don't use anything from someone else's song without their permission. You're gonna get into hot water for copyright infringement if you do that. And also, this is not what's called interpolation. You don't get to go and take a little bit of the song and do a little bit of a cover and then not the whole thing. I'm gonna explain in more detail what that means, but one of the most popular examples is gonna be when someone comes in and they do a cover version, but then they change the entire chorus and they put in brand new lyrics, a new melody, so it goes from a singing kind of thing and now they're rapping. If you do that, it's not a cover. A cover is a version that you made all by yourself. It's your production, your instrumental, your voice. But
I misunderstood some of that because that was confusing. Hold on.
Chorus, and they put in brand, it's not the whole thing. I'm gonna explain in more detail what that means, but one of the most popular examples is gonna be when someone comes in and they do a cover version, but then they change the entire chorus and they put in brand new lyrics, a new melody, so it goes from a singing kind of thing and now they're rapping. If you do that, it's not a cover. A cover is a version that you made all by yourself. It's your production, your instrumental, your voice, but keeping the essence of the song.
Oh yeah, duh. I could never make a cover because I would have my own lyrics. There's no way I could ever do a cover unless I were to start singing and just sing covers. I see. Duh.
Same lyrics.
How did I know? My brain's not braining.
It's the same melody and it's the same structure. You don't get to go and cut it into a whole bunch of new pieces and extend parts that never were extended before. So we call it the essence of the song. If you do that, it's a cover song. You can legally make cover songs here in the United States. And it's the same voice that you made all by yourself. It's your production. Cover. A cover is a version that you made all by yourself. It's your production, your instrumental, your voice, but keeping the essence of the song. It's the same lyrics. It's the same melody and it's the same structure. You don't get to go and cut it into a whole bunch of new pieces and extend parts that never were extended before. So we call it the essence of the song.
This be tripping me out sometimes. I think that people don't like the over the ear headphones, but then also people don't want to use Bluetooth while you're recording. Well, it's tripped out because she's sitting here with what, $500 microphone and then these little $20 headphones.
Song. If you do that, it's a cover song. You can legally make cover songs here in the United States. And this is pursuant to the Copyright Act of 1976 and specifically 17 USC section 115. This is what you need to know. The government at some point said, you know what? We are going to give an automatic license to anybody who wants to do a cover song, which is so great for us music creators. And there are different systems in place to make sure that the original authors get paid. I'm going to explain how that works. Now, before you used to have to get what's called a mechanical license, so there was a step. You would have to go to agency, Easy Song Licensing. You don't have to do that anymore, and that's because the Music Modernization Act of 2018 was like, hey, no one's getting these licenses. Everyone's just doing the covers and not getting this required mechanical license. So what happened is that now digital service providers like Spotify, they're the ones that have to get the license, so you actually don't have to do anything for step one, which is let's just get your music on streaming platforms.
That's kind of
all you have to do is make your cover song, make sure it actually is a cover song, okay? No sampling. Let's not do any interpolations. You send it on over to Spotify, you're good to go. So that's step one. Step two, you go, all right, we're ready to do a live performance of our cover song. How do we do that? What license do we have to get?
So if you're a singer, so if you're a singer and a producer, you could make basically a copy or like a heavily inspired version, a little bit different version of the beat, sing on there, and you could keep half the money.
News. The license that's required for the public performance of the song is covered by the venues that you do your performances in. So meaning, if you're performing in a dive bar, a restaurant, really any live space, those businesses are required to get a license from performance rights organizations. So the obligation is on them. Again, you're good to go. All right, so that leaves YouTube, because YouTube is not the same as Spotify. YouTube has a video component. And when you are now attaching a video to your song, it transforms it into something else. And you have to get under the law what's called a synchronization license, which is kind of a pain in the butt because you going to a famous artist and trying to negotiate with their record label that owns the song, the label coming back and saying, okay, we'll let you use it with your video and you just have to pay us a quick $10,000. That's not going to work. No one did that. And so here's the workaround that record labels came up with. They just went straight to YouTube and they go, hey, we need to make sure we can monetize cover videos because you know what? We could be getting paid from these videos rather than just striking them, rather than just getting them taken down. So again, good news for artists who make cover songs. But I want you guys to always be informed. That means there's no compulsory sync license. You have to actually go and get this yourself. But in the land of getting licenses from Universal and Warner and Sony, it's very complicated. So now YouTube has direct deals with these companies.
Hell yeah.
And this is done through Content ID. That's why when you go and upload your cover version, it's likely going to get claimed right away. And so your monetization symbol will change and it will show who's claiming your video. Now, I was thinking as a follow-up to this video, I've been exploring different licensing platforms because this is kind of how it works, but it's the wild, wild west. And so as I'm looking at platforms that may be able to assist in the licensing to YouTube, right, for that sync license specific. If you guys want me to do a follow-up video specifically going over what I found, what are the pricings, what are the options, drop a comment down below. Okay. But a big thing that I need you guys to think about is how to make money with your cover songs. So I call it monetizing your cover songs. So one way you get paid with your cover songs is going to be through your music distributor, right? You send it to whoever. DistroKid sends your music to all the music platforms. Those music platforms pay your distributor pays you. And if you ever have a problem with your distributor, just give me a call. But in any case, you get paid through the music distributor. You're gonna get paid through a platform called Sound Exchange. This is for your non-interactive streaming on Sirius XM, on Pandora. All you need to know, put it on the list. You're gonna go and register your cover on that platform. And you are not going to register with a performance rights organization for your cover song because you don't own the underlying composition. That's all you need to know. So take it off the list if you have a cover song that you're trying to collect your royalties on. Now I go back to the sync licensing opportunities for cover songs and making sure you guys know that if you aren't kind of front facing as brands, meaning you're not someone who is trying to get a big social media following, you really want to create digital assets. So meaning your cover song, your royalties on. That's all you need to know. So take it off the list if you have a cover song that you're trying to collect your royalties on. Now I go back to the sync licensing opportunities for cover songs and making sure you guys know that if you aren't kind of front facing as brands, meaning you're not someone who is trying to get a big social media following, you really want to create digital assets. So meaning your cover songs, you can go and sell and license and get sync placements. I have clients that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year doing just that. And so if you are wanting to do more of a deep dive on all things sync licensing, I have videos on the channel already to help you out. So check those out. All right. Couple other frequently asked questions, and let's start with AI. So in all things AI, if you're using, for example, Suno, you are allowed to remix, to make a new version, to make even a cover version of your own music. That is one of these services that these platforms offer. A cover version are frequently asked questions, and let's start with AI. So in all things AI, if you're using, for example, Suno, you are allowed to remix, to make a new version, to make even a cover version of your own music. That is one of these services that these platforms offer. I am not the biggest fan of uploading my music to these AI platforms because you give them permission to train on your music. You don't get paid anything for that. But nonetheless, that is an option with many of these platforms. What you cannot do, and I know there's workarounds. I'm
sure they train in it with our shit
to get these platforms to take popular songs and to create cover versions of them. That is a violation of copyright law. You could 100% get caught, get into trouble for that kind of thing. So please, please, please be careful. Another frequently asked questions, what about if I put two cover songs and I mash them up into one compilation? So we have one that kind of starts here and the other one that kind of blends into the next one. Is that okay? Or what if I mix and mash the instrumental is one version of a song and the top line, the vocals is another song altogether? Those are going to be examples of interpolations. They're not covers anymore. The second you change something significant, such as the lyrics, the arrangement of the song, meaning the structure of the song, you know, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, it's no longer a cover. And in which case, if it's an interpolation, if it's sampling, you have to go and get an actual license from the label that owns the song. Next frequently asked question, what about rearranging the song? Same thing. Don't do it. Don't take out a big chunk of the chorus and put in your own lyrics. Again, it is no longer a cover, and you're no longer protected by the Copyright Act as it relates to doing cover songs. And then lastly, if I give credit on YouTube, is that okay if I don't get a sync license? Again, it's already a violation under the law, which is where this is just wild. You are supposed to get the sync license. No one gets the sync license. Record labels have just done a deal with YouTube. So giving credit, not giving credit probably won't make a difference. But here's my thing. The right of attribution, so meaning to give someone credit, is part of the Copyright Act. It's very important. And just between us, it's very important to creators in general. So I'm a big fan. If you can, you just should. Give credit to whoever the original author was in the description of your video. If you found this video helpful, give us a big thumbs up and I'll see you on the next one. I'm top music attorney, Miss Krystle.
That's her artist name too, Miss Krystle. Word. Let's get this out of here. I'm Gimmickless. This is a reaction. Until next time, that's a wrap. Peace. We just did a little bit if you're an independent artist, you should benefit from that. And that's it. Bye.